Hey guys, welcome back to Satisfactory. And today we're flying over our storage area. We're gonna build a little bit of a network system all the way from our plastic and packaged fuel factory right through the waterfall here over to our storage area, and we're going to rebuild some of the basic parts here at our basic factory. I've already got started on building a few of the blueprints, and I believe we're gonna build a few giant legs for a huge platform out of those factories. So we're gonna build more vertical, up in the air, instead of what we've been doing so far, and that way we'll give ourselves a new challenge and a cooler way to build. But before we do that, I've had to correct a little situation here. So before, these batteries weren't charging at all. I didn't realize that I made the mistake of connecting them directly to a switch. So instead of grabbing a power line, connecting them like this, before it was connected directly, and hence the charging didn't begin immediately. Now the charging is fixed, so it's charging immediately here. So I'm gonna go ahead and place one of these guys here. Oh wait, that's already connected. Connect them together, and as you can see, it starts charging. So per 100 megawatts, it takes an hour to charge. We have plenty of extra electricity to create this charge, and that's an hour for all of them. And they all charge at the same time, so no matter how many you have connected. So this is pretty good. I do plan to expand this as well. Come back over here to the main base. We're here at the blueprint designer, and I've changed this blueprint a little bit for the basic iron stuff. So this is going to create primarily 240 screws, which is what we need most of. I seem to be building extra screws constantly, so this is going to do that for us. And we might set up one or two of these to produce enough for us. And just to show you guys, I did use right here, so I did use quite a few power shards. There's 11 power shards in here. So unfortunately, that's what it takes to be a little bit more minimalistic, to take up less space and to look nice. So what I'm planning to do is use this as a brick. And this brick is going to be just a piece of a column that I'm going to keep building out of these sort of bricks. And all we need to do is just route the right ingredients that they need and obviously power them up. I've also wired everything together, as you can see in there. And as long as we power them up, it should run perfectly. And then I'm going to create outports for them. There's an import already, and then walls we'll design afterwards. I want to leave as much space as possible for that, hence why I didn't do it ahead of time. But yeah, so this is the concept for what we're going to do with the rest of this whole crazy mess, as I'm sure you guys remember from previous episodes. I think for this first building, what we're going to do is we're going to use two of these already natural pillars as the first two pillars. And potentially I'm just going to build one big pillar here that's going to have multiple factories within it, and then we can build several pillars all around. And I like that idea because sort of the space elevator, if you take a look at it, maybe I'll put in some image here in the meantime, but the space elevator is triangular, so it's not really a square. So we can put it sort of almost leaning on these three pillars and looking up in the sky, so it'll be even higher than before. So that's going to look even better, in my opinion. But before we do that, we gotta clear out some troublesome alien vegetation, I'm guessing. I don't even know if these guys are alive or dead. Doesn't matter to me. We gotta take them out. And this is the best way to do it. So let me go ahead and jump straight into that. So just for mocking things up, it'll look something like this. Ooh, messing up my truck. As you can see, I've placed down the blueprint designer there for size so that we could see what it's going to look like. And it's basically going to be just a bunch of these stacked on top of each other. And I think that's going to make for a really cool looking factory. We'll input some glass in there. Maybe it'll look like the pillars at the plastic factory. And we'll see how that turns out. Hopefully you guys enjoy that as well. Let's get started on our foundation here. I'm thinking... I think where I had my rough draft was about here, which was really good. And maybe aligning it something like this would be best. So I'm trying to think of maybe some trucks that are going to be passing by, some trucks that are going to be going over here for the item elevator eventually that we're going to create. So I'm just going to see. So there's going to be maybe like a pathway here for the trucks, one right here. So maybe let's do a quick 4x4 I think is fair as the first foundation, so to say. We gotta pick a middle. I think I like this orientation for the most part. Let's do 5x5, this being the middle. How big are those? I think it's a 4x4. I believe so, right? Yep, so 4x4. So this can't be. So a nice 4x4. Let's say maybe like this. Then we'll build a border around it. So this is gonna be a hefty little guy here. Okay. Alright, and then we slowly build up a border around it. So this is going to be our floor. Let's go ahead and see if we can explode some of these. Yes we can. Alright. Very good. Does my guy have the throwing power? Kind of. I really don't want to get off here. It took forever to get up here. Yeah. Oh, that reached. Okay. So jumping up and doing kind of like a small glide forward really helps. Alright, well that's pretty clean, and really didn't want that one there. This is impeding my progress. I do not want to murder myself. And I really didn't want to destroy much of the vegetation, but it is what it is. And let's see if we can survive this. No! Oh my goodness. Thank God. We're wearing some protection. I don't think I can destroy these guys, so we might have to raise this by one. Let's take a look. Yeah, no. Okay, so we'll go ahead and raise that by one, and we'll get started on beginnings of this platform. There we go. So that's nice and clean now. So we could go ahead and work with this platform. And go ahead and add a little bit of depth here. This will be a small truck station potentially to transfer out all of our stuff that we'll be making here in and out. And I'll go ahead and possibly expand this at some point. I might make this a little bit bigger I think it will require it at some point, but I think just getting started here, putting some depth to this, putting some foundations, and we'll see how that looks. So in the midst of building this starting foundation, I realized that there's a quick little trick to put windows inside of walls like this, because these are the half 4-meter foundations to make nice thick walls. I like them better. They look a lot better as well when they match. So you can't actually put the hex frame window in there, so you can't really put it right in the middle of where I want it, if that makes sense. You could do like one of these, but that's not really as nice, right? Plus it's not really shaped properly. It doesn't look as good as this, right? It's not as uniform. So what you could do, it's pretty simple. You go into architecture. If you have row barriers open, this is very important. So row barriers are super useful because you could turn them and twist them in very different ways. And the reason why I deleted this foundation is because once I put the window right on top of it, it matches perfectly to where it needs to go. And that makes it look nice and neat. And then all I have to do is just fill that in, and that should look perfect. So this is kind of the beginnings of the design. Hopefully you guys like this. I think that looks pretty nice from afar. I might paint those black potentially and just kind of go with like a black and gray theme. This will be the widest point, and then we'll zoom in a little bit as we start building up some of the factories themselves. And I'm just figuring out what I want to do at the top of these pillars as well. Let's see what we could manage here. But so far, this is the design. So I think this is the final design for the beginning part of the foundation for the pillar. I've colored some of the pillars black, and it came out like a dark gray, which is fine. That still looks really nice. I can use the metal pillars here to go ahead and look a little bit better, but I still like my concrete. So with a little bit of clearance of 4 meters here, I think it's time for us to go ahead and use our first blueprints for basic iron, as I called it. I don't mind the orientation as much here just because it shouldn't matter. What I'm looking here for is to match up the corner, to make sure that the corner is well matched up. So I believe this is good. I wish there was a way to put it down and then I'm able to take it down if I put it in the wrong spot. Let's go ahead and risk it. Risk it for the biscuit. And that animation is never gonna get old. Seeing giant buildings being built in seconds, it's always fantastic. I love how the belts appear right at the end. Beautiful. So let's take a look if that matches up. So by coming down here, it looks like I messed up a little bit. Oh man, this is going to be hell of a lot of fun disassembling all this and trying to put it in the right spot. So I guess I'll see you guys after I figure how to do that.
1 hour later.
I think I finally got it. Looks like it fits. Take a look. Perfection. Very good. Now I know you just saw some pieces sticking out. That's no big deal. I don't know what's going on there, so we're gonna have to fix that. I think that's just a floating conveyor top. That happens, but other than that, this is phenomenal. So little pieces like that don't bother me as much. Another floating conveyor. But everything else seems to be in the right place. Excellent. So let's go ahead and dress up this building with some walls, some connections, and we'll see how it turns out. So I think I came up with a pretty good design. Hopefully you guys like it as well. Drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. So this is going to be the beginning of a few pillars all around our world. we're gonna set up a few factories inside. As you can see, the iron factory is right inside there, and you can kind of see what's going on, what's happening with it. Hopefully we're able to wire everything and send different things through it, but I think I'll modify it as time goes on to make sure that we have different sets for what we need to do. So if we need item elevators, things like that for the next module that's going to be above it and the one that's above it as well. I'm planning to do 2 at least on this one, and potentially maybe 3 that we could fit to the tallest pillar here. So we'll see what we could do. But these nice little spacers, I think, are just a great idea. I'm planning on putting on some signs as lights, and that will be it. I know some of you probably saw that as well, but there was a little ramp here that was discolored, so I had to change that out. And then we have a few little things poking out here, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Once I add some lights and a little bit more textures to it, I think it'll be totally fine. But this building looks terrific. I'm loving the way it's looking. I'm loving the patterns, the depth to the buildings, and we gotta put an entrance here at some point somehow for the trucks to get inside so they can start transporting resources, but I think we're going to do that in the next episode. And with that, you already know what to do down below. Go ahead, subscribe, leave a comment, and drop a like. It really helps us out, and hopefully we see you next week.